on demand using the ESPN app. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For more information, go to ESPN.com/MLB-TV. So, yes, JSN, huge deal with the Seattle Seahawks, the world champion Seattle Seahawks. 4 years, $168.6 million, $120 million guaranteed. They now have the highest paid receiver in the sport, and they have a Super Bowl winning quarterback. They let their Super Bowl MVP running back Kenneth Walker walk in free agency. He goes to Kansas City. Many of their defenders have walked as a result of big price tags elsewhere, which normally happens to Super Bowl champs when guys hit free agency. That is not abnormal. The formula they had last year, guys on rookie scale deals like JSN, like Kenneth Walker, with a quarterback that is on a nice deal, but certainly a team-friendly deal relative to the productivity of winning a Super Bowl, that formula really worked last year. Do they have the right formula now for this year?
Sure, they're just going to have to be smart with player acquisition, namely in the draft, and finding guys that fit what they're trying to do in the second wave of free agency, which is much less expensive than what we see at the beginning of the new league year in early March. So I do think that they have the right formula in terms of the guys that they're choosing to pay and identifying the positions that they want to target for top-of-the-market contracts. They just have to be judicious in terms of what they do the rest of the offseason in order to be able to maintain their level of dominance than what they showed in 2025.
Devin Witherspoon's got to get paid, too. You still have some other contracts you got to focus on if you're Seattle. This isn't over. And they did focus on the guys that they wanted to keep. And to use the Mike Tannenbaum terms, when you win the Super Bowl, guys graduate out. They're going to get paid elsewhere. But also, I don't want to forget what happened in the wake of the Super Bowl and how we praised John Snyder and this front office from top to bottom, saying that they're so underrated. They always make these shrewd moves. They're the ones who identified Sam Darnold, brought him in. They draft and develop. They know what they're doing. So I'm also going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to be able to be smart and reload and bring the right people in from a draft perspective in order to replace some of the pieces that went out the door after they won the Super Bowl.
This year, Sam Darnold's cap hit is 37.9. That's very low for a Super Bowl winning quarterback in today's day and age. Dead cap is 43, meaning it counts basically $6 million more to have him not on the team. But next year, the 2027 season, his cap hit goes up to 41.9. His dead cap is 19.2. It's half the price to get rid of him than it is to keep him. I only bring that up because of the fact that if you look at the Seattle Seahawks in the last 20-plus years, they made it to the Super Bowl with Matt Hasselbeck. They made it to and won a Super Bowl times. Well, they won one and lost one with Russell Wilson, and now they won one with Sam Darnold. The Eagles and Seahawks have this unique way of somehow churning quarterbacks, which never happens, right? JSN's deal is a high-priced QB-level deal past that of the QB. Should we be reading into this at all in any way, shape, or form, or is Darnold there for the long haul?
No, you're breadcrumbing it. Go ahead and say what you want to say.
You think they're going to move on from him?
No, Evan is looking at it from the perspective of having a rules-based philosophy on roster construction. And if you're going to pay the number one wide receiver money, which is essentially mid-tier quarterback money, then you've got to make sure that you're paying your quarterback mid-tier money or lower. And that's exactly what the Seattle Seahawks are doing. So they can afford to pay JSN the contract that they gave him. They can afford to pay Rashid Shaheed the contract that they gave him. But you damn well better make sure that your quarterback is at a below-market deal, which is exactly how you would characterize Sam Darnold's contract. So as long as Seattle is able to maintain that, then this championship window that they're in is going to remain open. The minute that changes, then all of a sudden their formula has to change in order to have success. What Evan is saying, because Sam Darnold won a Super Bowl, that price is not going down. And quite frankly, it's not going to stay the same much longer. After next season, Sam Darnold is going to knock on John Snyder's door and wonder where his new contract is.
He's like, I need a raise.
And that's when the Seattle Seahawks have a choice to make. Do you double down on a guy that you have proven success with, or do you adhere to a strict formula to maintain your championship window, and do you allow your quarterback to graduate out of your program?
so glad you answered that. There is zero chance I could have done that as well as you just did, and it was my whole thought. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you schooled us. That was awesome.
That was great.
It's his
I
idea.
know you broke it down in a
his
very
idea.
palatable way.
It's his idea.
Zero chance I
You
could have
broke it down
communicated that
beautifully.
as well
It's
as you
the
just did.
inverse of the quarterback rules. That's all it is.
Right. What? Yeah. But then it goes to the faith in Darnold. How good do you think it is? Do you have blind faith in him? Has he surpassed other guys? Right. I don't know that you're putting him above Stafford, are you? Like, where is he amongst NFC?
Listen, he's won the most games of any quarterback the last 2 years, and he's done it across 2 different franchises. So we got to get to the point where we stop doubting Sam Darnold's ability. Yet and still, I think there are some people that are going to say, I don't know that he's as good as Matt Stafford, even though the two are in the same division, and Sam Darnold beat him 2 out of 3 times head-to-head this past year.
So let's do the doubt-o-meter. Who do you have more doubts in? Okay? So you have a little bit more doubt in Darnold than Stafford. Fine. Darnold or your guy, Love? Who do you have more doubt in?
Oh, God. I have to say Jordan Love. Sam Darnold's done it. He's been more consistent than Jordan Love. He's been healthier than Jordan Love. He's been better in the playoffs than Jordan Love. It kills me to say it because I think Jordan Love has a higher ceiling than Sam Darnold. I think Jordan Love hasn't even scratched the surface of what he can be in this league, but it's up to him to be consistent. I need him to do it beyond Toyotathon.
Darnold has surpassed Love.
Yeah. He's the reigning Super Bowl champion quarterback in this league. Yes, he has.
I'm going to throw one out there for y'all. Darnold or Hurts?
I knew you were going to do that. I knew it.
I thought Hurts' shorts were a little too long on Saturday, but I'm still taking Hurts. I'm not giving up on him. No chance am I giving up on him.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't.
So here's the thing.
That's the problem. That's the Sam Darnold problem. That's the issue that John Schneider is going to have, to Evan's point. And you're just wondering, with the quarterback market continuing to go up and seemingly outpace the increases with the salary cap, you just wonder when a team is going to get to the point where they decide that a quarterback that gets them to the championship rounds, a guy that's good enough to hold up the Lombardi trophy, is a guy that they just can't afford.
Well, you pitted the right two teams against each other because in terms of overall team accomplishment, Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold have more than a guy like Josh Allen. Team accomplishment, okay? There's no way in your mind you can even envision a moment where Josh Allen is not on the Bills. And yet, if I were to tell you 2-3 years from now, both Sam Darnold and Jalen Hurts are not on the team, respectively, that they're on right now, you wouldn't bat an eye.
But here's the crazy thing. If I were to tell you a year from now that one of those two quarterbacks will be called a 2-time champion, you wouldn't blink either.
Nope.
Makes no sense and all the sense simultaneously.
How impressive is that?
How do you quantify the value of that? How?
And what you're doing is actually diminishing the value of the quarterback position unintentionally.
I'm not doing it. I'm not signing no contracts.
I'm not saying you're
diminishing the value. I'm not doing it.
It's not you.
It's not me.
But think about how impressive that is, that when we talk about Super Bowls and sustained success, we talk about Brady and the Patriots. We talk about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, Peyton Manning. Usually it's so quarterback driven. And now we're talking about two organizations that have won with quarterbacks across various timelines that so many of us are like, meh, I don't know, on. Nick Foles / Carson Wentz, Hurts, Darnold, Russ.
But the crazy thing is, we say it's a quarterback coach-driven league, and both of those franchises have been to Super Bowls with multiple head coaches and multiple quarterbacks.
Front office driven.
But it's only those two. It really is only those two. We are less than a month away from WrestleMania 42. The ESPN app is the home to WrestleMania 42 and every WWE Premium Live event. If you want to be there for the biggest moments, you'll need the ESPN Unlimited plan to sign up. Go to stream.espn.com. You know that if you get ESPN through DirecTV, Spectrum, Xfinity, Verizon, Fios, Cox, or Fubo, ESPN Unlimited is included at no additional cost housing. Just head to activate.espn.com and follow the steps to get set up so you don't get cursed. Then sign into the ESPN app